My name is Paul Marshall, writer, retired librarian, and semi-retired painting contractor. This is my story. I still have a photograph of my family standing on the porch of my grandparents' farmhouse. We're kind of lined up left to right. I'm on the left, and I'm 6'6", 160 pounds, just like a stick, like burnt orange acne pimple standing out on the side of my family. I have these polyester pants that don't quite reach my shoes, and kind of a more brownish suit coat that is on me, and my hair is just very 70s. So I guess it's not a surprise that I had a really hard time getting a date in high school. Of course, as you look at me now, that may be hard to believe, being a fine specimen of manhood that I am, but it's true. I think that my life has been a quest for the love and the intimacy and the family that I felt like I didn't get when I was younger. I had a difficult relationship with my father. He was very angry. We kind of hid from him when he came home. He would come into my room even after I was taller than he was. I was 6'6", 160 when I graduated, and he would come in and just hit me, and sometimes he'd take us by the ear and take us over to what he saw was wrong in the house. And so it was difficult living with him. I would isolate myself in my room. I'd listen to baseball games on the radio and music and just kind of hang out by myself rather than, face what was on the outside of my room. Probably the most disturbing aspect of my relationship with my father was when my mother called me when I was in my 30s, and she said, well, your father's been caught fondling the girls he's been giving music lessons to. And so my first reaction was kind of selfish. I was like, how am I ever going to show my face in my hometown again? This is just awful. And I ended up, realizing I had to deal with this, and I went and talked to my father about it, and he was sorry he got caught, but I don't think he was really sorry about what he did. So when I went off to college, I thought, I'm going to start a new life. This is going to be a brand new thing for me. I'm going to get away from the disappointments of my family. I'm going to find true love. I'm going to have a good family. I'm going to prepare for a great career. I wanted to be a college professor, and I know that I have a cousin who's a college professor. I have a cousin who worked on the Mars Land Rover, and a cousin who's an architect, so there are high expectations. Things didn't seem to work out the way that I had planned. I think that one thing I did was I just was so focused on my own goals that sometimes I just wasn't thinking about or sensitive to what other people wanted. And I know that I proposed to a woman when I was in graduate school, and having no idea that she was going to say no. So I was a little bit too self-absorbed. A few years later, I got married, but that marriage ended in divorce. And then a few years after that, I was engaged, and the engagement ended up being broken. So I just have to look back on that and say, was I really thinking about what the other person wanted, what their goals were? And I think I was a little bit too focused on doing what I wanted. It's one of the lessons I learned from that. So my career was kind of moving from one thing to another, and I really wasn't happy with what I was doing. Similarly, I was looking for love in all the wrong places. I think after all those disappointments and rejections, I just felt kind of desperate. I know I delved into online pornography, and I did these dating sites. And I remember going out to Colorado to the Garden of Gods to meet a woman there. I remember going out to the west coast of Oregon to meet a woman there. We had just briefly corresponded before that. So I just was kind of like pin the tail on the donkey or roulette wheel kind of dating, looking for somebody to fulfill that need that I had. So I found myself in a place where I just wasn't finding what I really wanted, an intimate love and a satisfying purpose, a career in my life. One of the miracles that happened in the midst of all of this disappointment was that I did find the woman that I wanted to marry, and that we now have 2 wonderful children, and that I am very happy with what I'm doing as a writer. And I understand that not everyone gets this sort of happy ending in their life where I'm at right now. But I do understand now God's part in this, because I have a loving Father and a God who loves me, and that He was very patient and gracious with me during all of this time. It was hard, and I suffered. And I remember I had a Greek teacher in college, and he used to say "pathe mathas," which was taken from a quote from Aeschylus: "One learns through suffering." And I just see that my life was an example of that I had to learn some tough lessons. But the revelation that I received was that God was using that suffering in my life to bring me to Him. And I know the Bible says that Jesus learned through the things that He suffered. And I had to learn that I was following my own selfish ends, and I wasn't really thinking about others, and I wasn't thinking about God. And God was merciful to me and patient to me. And not only has He given me this wonderful family here later in my life, but I understand that no matter what happens, I am secure in the love of my Father in heaven.